Hello friends, welcome you all in the video Introduction to Compiler. In our last video, we have discussed regarding the different phases of different definition aspects of the compiler. Like compiler is a program which converts high-level language program into machine language, and in between this compilation process, if there are any errors, so it will be handled by the another module that is called as error handling module. So whatever the errors are there, that will be reported by the compiler with the help of that particular module. So basic functionality of the compiler is to convert a high level language program into machine language. As we know that programmers, they used to write the program in the high level language program. There are different high level languages, and as computer understands only machine language, so that needs to be converted, high level language needs to be converted into machine language. So compiler program will work as an intermediary software between the user and the computer for translation purpose. So the entire process of that compilation may be roughly divided into the different phases, like pre-processing, then it will go through the compiler program, and then it will go through the assembler program, and then finally by using loader or linker program, the pure machine language program can be generated. Preprocessor directives are the directives which are necessary for processing our program, so they are included before the compilation program executes. So after this preprocessing directive inclusion, the program is converted into pure high level language program, and that program, high level language program, produced to the compiler, that will inputted to the compiler to produce the assembly language program. And by the use of assembler and loader and linker for linking them with the different libraries, the entire process is responsible for converting that high level language program into machine language. Now this entire process of compilation or compiler program, it is divided into different parts or phases that are also called as phases, and each part or each phase performs certain tasks. So in this video we are going to discuss regarding the phases of compiler. Before going to discuss that, as we have discussed regarding this diagram, so we'll see the terminologies whatever they are present in the auto diagram is high level language, means if a program contains hash defined or hash include directives such as hash include or hash define, it is called as the high level language program, and they are also called as preprocessor directive. They are closer to the human's understanding but far from machines. So these hashtags are called preprocessor directives. They direct the preprocessor about what to do. Then preprocessor remove all the hash include directive by including the files called file inclusion, and all the hash defined directive using macro expansion. It performs file inclusion, augmentation, and microprocessing. Then assembly language program is produced, so it is neither in binary form nor in high level language program. It is an intermediary form or intermediary state, that is a combination of machine instruction and some other useful data needed for execution. Then assembler, for every platform, hardware and software, we will have an assembler. They are not universal, since for each platform we have one. The output of the assembler is called as an object file. It translates assembly language into machine code. Now interpreter converts high level language into low level machine language, just like compiler, but they are different in way they read the input. The compiler in one go read the input, does the pre-processing, and execute the source code, whereas the interpreter does the same line by line. Compiler scans the entire program and translate it as a whole into machine code whereas interpreter translates program one statement at a time. Interpreted programs are usually slower with respect to the compiled one. Then we are having relocatable machine code. So it can be loaded at any point and can be run. The address within the program will be in such a way that it will cooperate with the program movement. Loader or linker. So it converts relocatable code into absolute code and try to run the program, resulting in running program or an error message. Or sometimes both can happen. Linker loader a variety of object files into a single file to make it executable. Then loader loads it in the memory and executes it. So this entire process of compilation from high level language to the pure machine level language program goes through all these steps which just we have discussed. Like for example, the source program will be in the high level language program, and then it goes through the first step that is called as pre-processing. Pre-processing will include all the files which are needed by removing the hash define and hash include directives. Then it produces the assembly language code by going through the compilation process. Then compilation produce the assembly language program. So that is intermediate form, neither in the high level nor in the machine language. Then assembler that perform with all the necessary uh, steps needed for that particular intermediate program, like hardware and software. So that that, that program will perform that particular operation, and then is either using interpreter and compiler. Then we are going to produce the relocatable machine code, and with the help of loader and linker, we are going to produce the absolute or pure machine language program from the high level language program. So this is regarding all the compilation process that is totally performing that high level language program into machine language program. Now in this particular video we are going to discuss regarding the compilation process or the compiler module of this particular stage, because we have seen that from high level language program it goes through the preprocessor directive program, and then it will come to the compiler. So in the compiler, after compilation, it will produce assembly language program. So that particular compilation program, it consists of number of phases, or it is divided into different parts, and that parts are called as phases after the compiler. So in that particular phases, there are different sub programs, like or the sub phases are there. Like first, that whatever the high level language program, it has to go through the lexical analyzer, syntax analyzer, semantic analyzer, intermediate code generator, code optimizer, and target code generator. And whatever necessary information are required for during this particular stages, they can be included or they can be fetched from one another data structure that is called as symbol table. And during this process, if there is any error occurs, so it will be handled by another module or program that is called as error handler. So the first phase of the compiler program, it is called as lexical analyzer. It is followed by syntax analyzer, then semantic analyzer, intermediate code generator, and code optimizer, and target code generation. And after this, the assembly language program, the high level language program, it will be converted into assembly code. So in this way, so these are the different parts of the compiler program, or they are also called as phases of the compiler program. Now we'll first discuss few phases, then we'll go for another phases like that. So when we discuss regarding this particular total phases, so there are total like lexical analyzer, syntax analyzer, semantic analyzer, intermediate code generator, code optimizer, and target code generation. So total 6 phases are there. So these phases are again divided into 3 and 3 means half and half part. So first 3 phase, they are called as analysis phase. In that we are having lexical analyzer, syntax analyzer, semantic analyzer, and intermediate code generator. And remaining two phases, they are called synthesis phase, so in that we are having code optimizer and code generator. So like this, the total 6 phases, they are divided into 4 and then 2. So first 4, they are called as analysis, and second 2, remaining 2, they are called as synthesis phase. So after this analysis phase, the intermediary code is produced, and after that particular code optimization, the code generator, the total high level assembly language program of the high level language program, it is going to be produced. So in this, the intermediate representation is created from the given source code. So in that, this lexical analyzer divides the program into tokens. Syntax analyzer recognizes sentences in the program using the syntax of the language, and semantic analyzer checks static semantics of each construct, and intermediate code generator generates abstract code like this. Now in the synthesis phase, each target program is created from the intermediary representation, that is code optimizer and code generator. Code optimizer optimizes the abstract code, and the final code generator translates abstract intermediary code into a specific machine instruction. So the entire process of compilation or compiler program is divided into another two parts, that is analysis and synthesis phase. Now we will see first few like lexical analyzer and syntax analyzer, and then we will go for the remaining part of the compilation program. So lexical analyzer, what is lexical analyzer? So that is the first phase of the compilation program. Means in the compilation program, first lexical analyzer will perform its operation. So lexical analyzer, so it is called scanner. Lexical analyzer is also called as a scanner. It takes the output of the preprocessor, means before coming to the preprocessor or before coming to the lexical analyzer, our program first has to go through the preprocessor module, which remove all the hash encode and hash defined tags which are present in our program. So after that, it will come to the lexical analyzer. So it takes the output of the preprocessor, which perform the inclusion and micro expansion, as the input, which is in a pure high level language program. Now then lexical analyzer reads the character from the source program. So it will read one by one all the characters which are present in that particular source program, and next thing it does, it groups them into lexemes. Lexemes means sequence of characters that go together, and each lexeme, it is called as a token. So basic functionality of lexical analyzer is to read all the source program character by character, and accordingly group the characters into the basic elements that are called as tokens or lexemes. Now what are tokens? Tokens are defined by the regular expression which are understood by the lexical analyzer, and it also removes lexical errors, that are which are having error characters or something like that, comment and white spaces. So basic functionality of lexical analyzer is to basically take the input from preprocessor, that preprocessor, whatever the output of the preprocessor, it is pure high level language program, then read all the program, high level language program, character by character, and group the characters, whatever the character it has read, group them into the basic units that are called as lexemes or tokens. So tokens, they are defined by the regular expression, and they are used for understanding, or they are used by lexical analyzer. So in this phase of grouping of the characters into token, if there are any errors, so a lexical analyzer removes that errors. Also, it removes comments and white spaces which are present in our program. So input to the lexical analyzer is high level language program or source program, and output will be group of tokens which are produced by the lexical analyzer. So grouping of tokens will be based on the regular expression whatever present by using that particular module. Now coming to the syntax analyzer, the next phase after lexical analyzer. So input to the lexical syntax analyzer will be group of token. So syntax analyzer is also called as parser. It is also called as parser, or sometimes it is called parser. It constructs parse tree. So basically the output from syntax analyzer will be parse tree. Now input to the syntax analyzer is token, and output from syntax analyzer will be the parse tree. It takes all the tokens one by one, and it uses context-free grammar to construct the parse tree. So why we are using grammar means the grammar will be used, or they are the rules of programming language that can be entirely represented in few productions. Using these productions, which can be represented what the program is actually. The input has to be checked whether it is in the desired format or not. The parse tree are also called as derivation tree. Parse tree are generally constructed to check the ambiguity in the grammar. There are certain rules associated with derivation tree. So in that particular grammar, there are certain things like an identifier is an expression, any number is called an expression, performing any operation in the given expression will always result in an expression. The parse tree can be compressed to form a syntax tree. The parse tree can be compressed to form a syntax tree. The syntax error can be detected at this level if the input is not accordance with the grammar. So in this way, this is the most important phase of the compiler, that is called as syntax analyzer. So input to the syntax analyzer will be group of tokens, and output will be the parse tree, which is used by the context-free grammar to understand the meaning of the sentences which are produced during the lexical analyzer, and tokens from the lexical analyzer. So in this way, this syntax analyzer will work. So in the next video, we will discuss regarding the remaining phase. Now this is regarding lexical analyzer and syntax analyzer.